Let's start with Tomaso Busetta. For 500 years, no Sicilian mafia boss had ever broken omerta, the code of silence. Breaking this sacred oath meant automatic death. Then, in 1984, Tomaso Busetta did the impossible and entered witness protection. Busetta wasn't just any mobster. He was a high-ranking boss who knew every secret of the Cosa Nostra. When rival families murdered his sons, he made a decision that would destroy organized crime in Italy forever. He revealed the existence of the Commission, a governing body that coordinated all mafia families across Sicily. For the first time, law enforcement understood that the mafia wasn't just local gangs, but a sophisticated criminal organization. His testimony led to the Maxi trial, with 475 defendants, the largest anti-mafia trial in history. The trial lasted for years and resulted in hundreds of convictions that decimated the Sicilian mafia's leadership, and proved that Italy's justice system could actually work. Busetta lived safely in witness protection until his natural death in 2000. At number 7, we have Daniel Ellsberg, who exposed the Pentagon Papers. The Pentagon Papers were 7,000 pages of top-secret documents revealing the truth about America's involvement in Vietnam. Daniel and other government insiders risked life imprisonment to expose these papers, proving 4 presidents had systematically lied to Congress and the American people about Vietnam. The government knew the war was unwinnable as early as 1965, but kept sending troops anyway. The document also showed officials had secretly expanded the war into Cambodia and Laos, while publicly denying it. They proved the government deliberately misled Congress about casualty reports and the war's progress. When the papers were leaked, the Nixon administration went bonkers. They tried to destroy Ellsberg through any and every means, including through illegal surveillance and character assassination. But witness protection had Daniel Ellsberg's back. The U.S. Marshals Service created safe houses and moved Ellsberg and other sources to secure locations with new identities. Ellsberg later survived all the assassination attempts on him and lived up to 92 years. Number 6 brings us to John Dean and other Watergate witnesses. When White House counsel John Dean decided to testify against President Nixon, he and other witnesses required protection. Dean wasn't just any White House staffer. He was Nixon's personal lawyer who had attended every cover-up meeting. He had detailed knowledge of hush money payments, witness intimidation, and the president's direct involvement in obstructing justice. Dean revealed that Nixon was running a criminal conspiracy from the Oval Office that made the mafia look amateur. The White House had created a secret unit called the Plumbers to break into psychiatrists' office and steal medical records of political opponents, and his administration was using the FBI, CIA, and IRS as personal weapons to destroy anyone who opposed them. Nixon's enemies list included 200 journalists, politicians, and celebrities targeted for tax audits, surveillance, and character assassination. But here's the insane part. Nixon was so paranoid that he secretly recorded every conversation in the Oval Office, creating an audio diary of his own crimes. The tapes captured him saying things like, "I don't give a damn what happens, I want you all to stonewall it," and discussing paying hush money to burglars. Dean's protected testimony, combined with Nixon's own recorded confessions, forced the only presidential resignation in American history. The witness protection program worked so well that Dean became a best-selling author and legal commentator. At number 5, we meet Operation Car Wash witnesses. In Brazil, top Petrobras executives who witnessed massive corruption needed protection, as they testified about the biggest scandal in world history. The key witnesses were Pedro Barusco, a high-ranking executive who oversaw engineering projects worth billions, and Paulo Roberto Costa, the former director of refining and supply who controlled Brazil's most valuable oil operations. Here's how the scheme worked. Brazil's state oil company, Petrobras, would deliberately overpay construction companies by at least 3% on every contract. Companies kicked money back to executives like Costa and Barusco, who pocketed some and handed the rest to politicians who appointed them. The scale was absolutely insane. Costa alone moved 20 million euros through Monaco, and the corruption involved over 20 political parties and 28 major corporations. Costa and Barusco's confessions exposed the corrupt network that had been bleeding the country dry for over a decade. But they never remained safe after that. Both executives received multiple death threats from criminal organizations, corrupt politicians, and construction company hitmen who wanted them silenced before they could reveal more secrets. Brazilian authorities had to relocate them to secure locations with new identities and 24-hour security details. But things have calmed down a bit, and the witnesses now live quietly under protection in Brazil. Number 4 takes us to the witnesses who exposed how America's most trusted law enforcement agency became a criminal organization. James Whitey Bulgar wasn't just Boston's most violent crime boss, he was also the FBI's most protected asset. That's insane, right? Yeah, but how did it happen? For 20 years, FBI agents John Connolly and John Morris turned the Bureau's Boston office into a criminal enterprise. Connolly grew up in Bulgar's neighborhood and recruited him as an informant in 1975. But the relationship was backwards. Instead of Bulgar providing information to the FBI, Connolly was feeding secrets to Bulgar. The arrangement was deadly simple. Whenever someone agreed to testify against Bulgar, Connolly would warn him. Bulgar would lure these witnesses to houses in South Boston, chain them to chairs, and execute them. Bulgar paid Connolly over $235,000 in bribes, while Morris accepted envelopes of cash and expensive wine. Both agents protected Bulgar from prosecution while he committed murders, ran drugs, and terrorized Boston for 2 decades. The witnesses who exposed this corruption needed serious protection, because they were revealing that the FBI itself had blood on its hands. Most of the witnesses survived, and their testimony sent Connolly to prison for 40 years. Coming in at number 3 is Sammy the Bull Gravano. Sammy Gravano was an underboss to John Gotti, one of the biggest criminal masterminds in America. He had personally committed 19 murders for the Gambino crime family, and was the most trusted man in America's most powerful crime organization. Then he heard a conversation that changed everything. Gotti was caught on wiretaps discussing Gravano's business dealings. Gravano realized Gotti was setting him up for murders they'd committed together, so he did something no high-ranking mobster had ever done. He became a government witness and entered protection. Here's the shocking part. Gravano used his wife Debbie to approach prosecutors. This violated the mob's most sacred rule about keeping families separate from the family. But Gravano wasn't desperate, he was calculating. Gravano testified for 9 days and confessed to 19 murders. His testimony destroyed America's most powerful crime family and put the Teflon Don away for life. Gravano entered witness protection, but left after 1 year because he got tired of his handlers. After that, he became a celebrity for his testimony that destroyed America's most powerful crime family. At number 2, we have the Russian oligarch witnesses, billionaires who fled Putin's regime with explosive secrets about the world's most dangerous criminal empire. They exposed a staggering truth. Putin controls a personal fortune of over $200 billion, stolen from the Russian people. Every major business deal requires Putin's approval and his cut. Oil executives, mining bosses, tech billionaires, everyone pays tribute to the man who transformed from spy to emperor. The testimony of Bill Browder, one of the oligarchs, led to the Global Magnitsky Act, freezing billions in Russian assets worldwide and triggering international sanctions that crippled Putin's inner circle. Many of these witnesses under protection survived. Examples include Mikhail Khodorkovsky, once Russia's richest man, who spent 10 years in prison before fleeing to London, Bill Browder, who has lived under constant protection since 2009, Alexei Navalny's associates, who continue providing evidence from secure locations across Europe. But speaking out against Putin comes with deadly consequences, and some witnesses couldn't be saved. Boris Berezovsky was found dead in his London bathroom in 2013, and Alexander Litvinenko was murdered with radioactive polonium in 2006. To reduce the rate of witness deaths, surviving oligarchs like Khodorkovsky and Browder were relocated to secure compounds with new identities and 24-hour security. Some even live in underground bunkers with military-grade protection because Putin's assassination teams operate globally. At number 1, we have Oskar Groning, the Nazi SS officer who became a witness against Holocaust denial. Groning worked at Auschwitz concentration camp, counting money stolen from murdered Jews. For 70 years, he stayed silent about the horrors he witnessed. Then, in 2005, Holocaust deniers began claiming the genocide never happened. At age 84, Groning broke his silence. He testified in court about the systematic murder of over 1 million people at Auschwitz. His detailed testimony provided irrefutable evidence of Nazi crimes, destroying Holocaust denial movements worldwide. Groning needed witness protection because neo-Nazi groups threatened to kill him for betraying the cause. German authorities provided 24-hour security and safe houses as he testified in multiple trials. His testimony helped convict other Nazi war criminals and provided legal precedent for prosecuting crimes against humanity. Educational programs use his confessions to teach future generations about the Holocaust. Groning lived safely under protection until his death in 2018, having helped save historical truth and prevent the resurgence of Nazi ideology. His witness protection allowed him to provide testimony that preserved historical truth and helped convict war criminals. And that wraps up our list of witness protection programs that saved countries. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out the channel for more content like this.